No, sir. No, from my
No,
end.
sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So, dear participants, once again, good evening and welcome back to our ongoing workshop.
Good evening, sir.
And without having any loss of time, okay, we are going to start the session. You can see my screen is visible. Okay, screen is visible. So is
Yeah.
there any doubt related to Anaconda or how we can launch the Jupyter notebook, how we can manage its folder, directories, etc.? Okay,
No, not yet.
no problem. Okay. So today we will discuss about the descriptive static, but before that we have some content. And yesterday I shared with you some files, chapter number 1. Okay. So did you try that particular file? The files which are related to chapter 1, did you try to cover? Is
Yes, sir.
there any issue?
Yes, sir. We'll try. We'll learn.
Okay. So this is the chapter 2 because this is essential to start. Okay. And some important informations are there. Chapter 2, then I have the chapter 3. Then I have control flow. Okay. Chapter 4 is also there. Chapter 4, functions and modules. Okay, this is not required. And what about chapter 1? Okay. So these few files which I have on here, we are required to discuss. And then after we will talk about variable type. Okay. This is the descriptive static. So I have this file also. One I can close. So these are the chapters. So first you have covered this file I share with you. What is the variable? What are the meaning of the variable and how we can use? So the participants are coming to join us, and I hope that they will join. Okay. So is there any doubt related to this file first, which I have shared with you? And the importance is that we need to understand the variables which we can use, which we can integrate, and where we can store the information. Okay. So once I yes, so sometime our mic is unmuted, and to avoid this type of the disturbance, I restrict now. Okay, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. Okay, so actually this is the overview I want to give you here. So if we are required to save some database, just like names are like string. Okay, so this is the string, and we can store. We can have any message here. We can have name. We can have any object name, and we can store by using the quote sign. Okay, inside this variable name, or we can use any variable address space. Okay, we can use the string and anything. So when you will execute this code, Control and S, you can see the information which we write at space are stored. And when you will use the print statement, Okay, so I want to display by using practically. I can take here new shell. Okay, so here name is equal to, I can take this character. Name is equal to, you can use single quote sign or double quote sign, there is no difference. Okay, alka. Then you can use here print function. Okay, name. Python is very sensitive. The variable which you are using here and at the place must be same. Okay, control and enter. So we have output at the place. Okay, this is the way how we can use. Okay, so if you are using here at this place n in lowercase, control and enter, you can say I have Meherchand because this information is stored inside this variable. The variable which I am using here at this place is match with this one. That's why the information stored in this variable is this. This is my name. Okay, and the Python is very sensitive since if there is n is in uppercase, then this is a different variable. If here n you can see in lowercase, then this is another variable. So here just by changing n in uppercase or lowercase, these two variable name becomes different variables. Okay, so while using all these name, use carefully. Okay, so here you can see when I will execute all these statements which you can see here, and you can execute and all the information are print at the place. Okay, so 25 is stored inside this variable, this salary is stored inside the salary, and all these we are using the functions to print the value altogether at the same time. You can see here. Okay, so here also you can see there is one more interesting part. Okay, so here this is the variable information which we store here in the name. This is the age variable. Okay, here the use of the above statement is a little bit different. Okay, so here I want to print with the name. Okay, this is the variable name. I wanted to print along with the variable name also. Okay, so this can be, we can integrate this name is used for this one. Okay, this is the string. So what we are going to print? We are going to print name, and this information, this variable which we insert here because of this one. So you can see how we can use in the quote sign name colon then comma. After the comma, you will use the variable. This variable we are using at this place. So when we are executing this statement, we have this output. Name Meherchand, comma, BFJ, comma, Bathinda, comma, India. If I update this information, I delete this part. Again, when I will execute, control plus enter. Okay, now there is only name, Meherchand. Okay, age, you can see. Similarly for this variable, we store this value inside age variable, and I want to print along with variable name. So variable name is age. Okay, so we use here age as a variable inside quote sign, and when you are using the quote sign, this will become string. Okay, and the string will print here, and along with we want to pass this value. Okay, so this value, for that we have to use the variable name where we store the information. So here you can see the age is 45. Okay, so why we need the variables? So that we can store the value and we can use for future anytime, anywhere in our coding part. That's why we are required to use the variable to store the information, perform calculation, modify the value during the program execution, make program more flexible and reusable. Okay, so once we store the value in the one variable, we can use anywhere multiple times. Okay. So we are not required to update as we are using. Once we update the value, the same will be updated everywhere we use the variable. Similarly, you can see here a very small calculation is a radius is equal to 5, and this is the area of the circle. Okay, area of the circle. What is area of circle? The formula is pi r square. Okay, the area of the circle. This is the comment. Area of circle is equal to pi r square. Okay, pi product r square. So this is the value of pi, 3.14159. This is radius into radius square, or either you can use like in this way also. This is also r square. So this is your choice how you want to use it. Okay. And when you will execute, the area of the circle will store in this variable. And now we want to print here area of the circle is equal to, okay, C, control and enter. So this has been updated because of this change. You can see because of this change. Okay. So this is the formula which we use here, and the area is calculated on the basis of the radius of the circle and store inside this variable. And then we call the function here, the output value. And when you will execute, we have the value as you can see. Okay. So what are the meaning of the dynamic typing? Dynamic typing means that the data type of the variable is determined automatically at the runtime. Okay, so with the values which you are changing, which you have put at any place will be automatically updated, and this will return the value. Okay, how dynamic typing work? When a value is assigned to the variable, Python creates an object in the memory. Python determines the object, the data type, the variable name references that object. So this is the way how the Python is work. Okay, so this is not too much important for you, but we must have the information how the Python is working. Okay, so here you can see this is the example, and this is the best example. You can see the value of x is 10, then the value of x is 3.14. The x is equal to Python. So when I will print here x, okay, print x. So which value this will take? Last one. Why? You can see the value of x is also 10. That of x is equal to 3.14. Also we have the value of x is Python. So why only Python is there? Because so the value, these two values, this value is replaced by this statement, and this value is replaced by this statement. So all the values, the latest value is this one for the same variable. So this value will be updated. This will store the latest value, update the value. So only this value is returned here. If you will comment this one, if you will comment, control and enter. So only this is the latest value. This value is there. Okay, because this the value is updated, and this x equal to Python is not the part of the statement. Okay, because we have comment this statement. So only there are two statement, x is equal to 10 and x is equal to 3.14. Okay, so the value will be updated for x variable is 3.14. Okay, once again, if you will comment this one, okay, now the same thing happen this variable also. The now x is equal to 3.14 is not a variable because we have comment this part. Only there is only one statement, x is equal to 10. So when I will execute control plus enter, you can see I have only 10 value. Okay, so this is the dynamic. So automatically, if we are using x variable, and when you will assign the new value to the variable, automatically the value will store in the memory the latest value. Okay. So here we have the example, we can check the data type. Okay, so here x is equal to 10, we want to check the type. So type is a variable function. So by using this type, we can check the type of the variable, which type of the information is there in the variable which we are using. Okay, this is the another variable. Okay, x is equal to 3.14, and here is x equal to Python. And when you will execute this shell, you can see this is an integer. Okay, then x is equal to 3.14, and we print at the place we have float value. 3.14 is a float value. And here the Python is a string. Okay, any value which contains some alphabet characters will be always string. Okay, so here are some more examples are there, and this is the conclusion. You can read out this file. Any question, please, for this information? I think it is very clear. You can raise your hand or you can put your question in the chat box, because you are restricted to unmute your mic. And if you say I can permit you, but keep in mind, don't unmute your mic unnecessarily. Okay, so we are less in the audience, so I permit you to unmute your mic. So please if it is required, only then you must unmute your mic. Okay, here you can see the file. My screen is visible, and now you can see my file. Okay, so here this is the one file, chapter number 1, which I have shared with you yesterday. This is the new file. Okay, so only we must be familiar about which type of the data we can store in our data frame. Okay, so variables, data type, and their operations. So very frequently we have to cover this file. Okay, just only we will check the variables. Okay, the types of the variables. So this example we have discussed already. Okay, so here you can see the variable name is name, and this is the information. And here I write print hello comma name. So you can see this message is there. Okay, similarly, you can see the perform the calculation. Okay, so what are there? We choose two variable, and then after we apply some operation a plus b, you can extend this formula, this operation according to your desire. Okay, you can manipulate all these values. Okay, so you can update the variable values. Okay, I can use this value and I extend this value also. These are new values. Okay, and here operation I apply here a plus b. So the addition of these two values will be stored inside this variable. And here is the statement, sum of a and b is. Okay, and the value which will be updated here, we are using at this place. So when I will execute, you can see the sum of these two values we have is 77834. Okay, and here is a very interesting update and track value, very simple example here. And this is the counter. Okay, we are starting the counter from equal to 1. Okay, so in the next step, what will happen? Count is equal to counter plus 1. So this will update the value, this value which we are using here to store inside counter. So counter plus 1 will be equal to 2. You can see. Okay, if I'm using here the value of the counter is 2, then next value is 3. If I'm using here counter is 100, the next value will be this one. Okay, so these are very simple examples, and everyone can easily understand. This is very interesting example here. You can see sometimes there are some conditions. Okay, conditions is like sometimes parents are saying to their kids, if you will do this task, I will give you some prize. Okay, if you will stood first in the class, I will provide you bicycle, mobile, any prize. So if the condition is fulfilled, because the task is on the basis of a condition, the condition which we apply. Okay, so here is also how we can apply the conditions, so that according to the condition which you apply, the program will work according to your instruction. Okay, see, here is the variable temperature. If temperature is greater than and equal to 30, okay, the temperature is greater than or equal to 30, then we can say it's a hot day. Okay, so here you can see the value of temperature is 29. Control and enter, you can see there is no output because the condition is not satisfied. Condition is not true. The value of temperature is 29. The here the condition, you can see this is the if is the condition. Okay, we apply the condition, that is if. Very simple. Temperature is greater than and equal to 30. This is the value of this variable. Okay, you know 29 cannot be greater than or equal to 30. That's why the condition is not true. If the condition is not true, then why this statement will work? Okay, so the condition is not true, the block will not work. Okay, if I increase the value, this is 30, control and enter. Now the condition is true. Either the temperature is greater than 30 or equal to 30. The condition is true. That's why it is working now. For any value which will be greater than equal to 30 will always work. But if any value which is less than 30, this will not work. Suppose the temperature is 12 degree, no output because it's a hot day. Okay, so it's not a hot day. That's why no output. So the condition is fail here. Okay, so according to the condition, these statements are working. Okay, and you can enjoy when you will get this file, and you must try. Okay, so here if what if I will remove this one. Now only the temperature when is greater than 30. Okay, if I'm using here the value is 30, then this will not work. This is false because 30 is not 30 cannot be greater than 30. Okay, that's why it is false and no output. If I'm using here equal to, okay, now either the value of temperature which is 30 is greater than or equal to 30. So equal sign is there. That's why this is true. Okay, so the symbols, these are the syntax which when we give the instruction to the programming, we are required to understand. And all these are very simple as we are speaking, we are using. Okay, temperature is greater than and equal to 30. This is the condition which we apply. And if the condition is true, this is the output. Next, you can see the one more example. Okay, so here this is on the basis of the input, on the basis of input function. So user will give the input, then this will return. Okay, store user input. So here you can see this is the input function. Okay, and this parenthesis is for input function. And here the input function which you can use. This is the input of the user. Okay. And after giving the input, then this value will be stored inside age variable. And this age variable store the value. And here this will print. You are age years old. Okay. See how this will work. Control and enter. So it's saying enter your age. I am entering here 45. Then I will enter you are 45 years old. Okay. Again, control and enter. saying enter your age. I enter here 45. Sorry, I'm entering here 60. Enter. You are 60 years old. Again, you can try control and enter, saying enter your age 40, say it is 23. Enter. Okay. So how we are giving the instruction, how we can use it. See the syntax. This is the important part. Okay, so the value which you are entering here is stored inside age, but we want to print is you are 23 years old. So what we have to make a change at this place, you are the age which we enter will store inside this variable, but we want to use at this place years old. Okay, so these are three parts for this line. Okay, so this is the way how we can use it. And it's very quite interesting, very simple, and everyone who is a data scientist and who want to use Python. So the basic concept, if we have clear, okay, so we can manipulate everything, whatever we get in the data set. Okay, and you know, in data science, data is everything. Without data, there is no data science. Okay, if there is no statistical thinking, no data science. So combining these two terms, statistics plus data, we have data science. Okay, so presence of both variable is very, very essential. So when we have the data set, how we can understand, how we can manipulate, how we can read the data set, how we can apply all type of the operations which we studied in statistics, okay, for the real, to solve the real problem. Okay, so our entire session will be in this way, but some foundational concept which we need to use for data analytic so that you don't have any problem. So I have prepared some chapters. So all the chapters which we are required according to our essential, we will discuss so that in the half time, we will discuss about the concept, and in the next half time, we will use computing. Okay, all the methods which we have studied in statistics or we need to study. Okay, so today only the demonstration how we can use all type of the functions, and you will see that all the functions which are we are using in statistics, and for the real data set, just we are required only the name of the function. We are not required to remember any formula. Okay, so but the foundational concept, and concept means what is the meaning of any statistical method which we are going to implement, and why we are going to implement, and if we are going to implement, then the output which we are getting, what are the meaning of the information after employing the formula, and how we can interpret. So for that, we should have deep understanding about the concept. This is very, very essential in data science. How much we have the deep understanding about the statistical method and then their applications and what are their conditions. Okay, so here is the data types you can see here. Integer we have discussed already, so I will skip this part. Floating value also we have discussed, just like you can see pi is equal to 3 point. This is the float value. I can skip this part. And here is you can see the string. Okay, so if you have any name or message, okay, these are when you have some alphabet characters. Okay, and you can store this information by using the quote sign. Okay, you can see Alice, this is the name, and by using the quote sign, it means this is the string. Okay, and some text are there. We store in this variable, and welcome to Python. This is also we have the string, and you can see whether you are using single quote sign or you are using double quote sign, there is no difference. Okay, so sometimes if there are single quote sign, don't surprise, the same meaning. Okay, so here you can see when I will execute control enter. So the name is Alice. So here I'm using the name is alias. The name is stored here in this variable. If I am using Vikram, control and enter, you can see the name is Vikram. Welcome to Python. I write here, welcome to Python for data science and machine learning. Control and enter, everything updated. Okay, so you can easily manipulate and enjoy this file. These are the Boolean values. Okay, so some all type of the statement, which we declare, which we are saying, which we are applying, there are only two options. Either the statement will be true or it can be false. Okay, so just like you can see here, is sunny is equal to true, is raining false. So these are the Boolean values. Okay, either it can be true or it can be false. Okay, so we are using here the values which we store here. Is it sunny? Okay, so this is the variable which we are using here in this. Okay, this is true, and the second one is false. So according to that, we have the output value. Here is the list. Okay, where many times we prepare the list of the items. So this is the same thing. How we can store the list of the items, just like we have a list of the fruits, apple, banana, cherry, anything. Okay, so here you can see this is the one group. So to store the list, we have to use square bracket. You can see, and inside name of the fruit will be string. So you have to use in this way: apple, banana, cherry. And remember that in list we can have float value, we can have numerical value, we can have string. Okay, so here we have the name of the fruits and we store in the variable fruit, and this is the number. Okay, so control and enter. So here you can see we are pass here fruits. Okay, so fruit are is this variable. So this information will return here. You can see in the output shell. Okay, and here is the also we check here data type function is there, and when we will check the data type, you can see the class is list. Okay, by using the type, we have the class of the variable, that is list. Got the idea? Any doubt? Okay, so this is the tuple. Okay, just like coordinate is the one example of the tuple. Okay, so that is ordered and unchangeable. We can't change this value. This is the coordinate. You can see 10, 20. We can have the colors red, green, blue. Okay, this can be either in 2 dimension or it can be in 3 dimension. Okay, so here you can see we have the output. The coordinates are these, the colors are these, and say control and. So the coordinates are, you can see the colors are red, green, blue. The type of the coordinate are tuple. If you will check the for the colors, control, enter. This is also tuple. So these are the examples. You can see these are the examples of tuple. Okay, then we have the interesting part is dictionary. This is very, very important because when you want to create a data frame, okay, a data frame just like we have some. Okay, you can if you okay, just like I will give you one more example of that. Your question is about just 1 minute. Okay, you are asking about how to change items in list. Okay. How to change items in a list. Payal, may I know why you need to change the list in sorry, items in list? Okay, items. Okay, this is the quite simple.
So actually, sir, so you have in the list three item, right? So I want to change the second item in the list, right? That is the question.
This is the tuple. Okay.
Yeah, in the
Here you
list
want to
you
change.
have given
Okay.
three values, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
apple.
see.
Yeah.
You can see. Yes.
So
Banana is there. So orange. Okay, so in the list, this is the actually this is the list of the fruits only. Okay, you can have LTS is equal to LST is equal to, okay. In the list, we can have any information, just like I can have numerical value, this I am using here. Okay, I can have the float value. Okay, I can have a string value. Just like my name is there. Okay, here is comma, here is comma. Okay, any fruit name can be there. Banana. Okay, see now, I want to print this one. So for that, I have to use here print. All these things are very changeable. You can update everything. Okay, so this is LST, control and enter. So this is the list. You can see this is the also list. Okay, if you want to check the type class, okay, so here you can check it. LST, control enter. Class is list. For what? This one, this variable. You can see I'm checking for this one, and this variable has this information. So in the list we can have anything, list of items only, whether it is a number or the float number or a string, or you can have any other information, just like you can have the tuple also, just like I'm using here. This is the tuple. This is the tuple 2, 5. Control. Okay, in the list, you can enter any kind of a data set. Got the idea? Got the idea how we can use it? So you can update anything, any item which you have. Okay. So this is the example of tuple. Then you can see this is the dictionary. Okay. So a dictionary is essential when we are required to create any data frame. Okay. So see here, this is the information about the student. Okay, so when you are creating the data frame for that, dictionary, so there are two things are there. One is the key and the other is value. Okay, so we store the value in pair, key hyphen value. Two things are there. Just like you can see here, we have the information of the student. Okay, name, this is the key. Colon, Johan. This is the value of the name. Okay. Then comma, age. This is key. Colon, 20. This is the value of age. then comma, grade. This is key, colon, this is value. Okay, so in this way, we can store the value by using dictionary, which will be stored inside the student variable. Okay, then if you want to access only the name of the student, see one by one. Okay, so here we have the information, name of the student is Johan, age is 20, grade is A, print the student name is, then this is the variable where we store the value, student, this is the variable name. Okay, then inside we are using a square bracket, and in the square bracket we are using this key, name. Okay, you can see here. So this will to assess the value, we need to use only the key which we are using to store the values. Okay, so this is the variable name and this is the key. So this key will assess the information where we store the value, which value we store, and when I will execute. The student name is Johan. This is the value. This is the key and this is the value. See how we are using. Okay, so in the data set, by using the dictionary, we can store the values by using two terms. One is key and other is value. Okay, so this always will be in pair order. Okay, so now you can see the other values. The age is, the student age is, I use here only the string. This is the string. We can type it. Then this is the student variable. And here the key I am using age. I want to assess the value of the age of the student. That is 20. So what I will do, I use only this key. This key is important. Note the value. The value automatically which we have assigned at a place will be there. Okay, you can see. Similarly for the grade. Okay, the student grade is, see this term, what we change. So in all the things which you can see here, one is common, that is the variable. And from the variable, we are using key to assess the value. Okay, control and enter. So all the things are there. The student age is 20, the student grade is A. This is the way how you can use dictionary. Very simple example I try to give you, and I think there is no doubt. If yes, you can ask me. Got it? Is it clear? Okay. So here is also same example. This is the same example. What you can see here? Name, you can see here is the student, then colon sign, and this is the end colon sign, starting and end. Okay. See, I am taking this example. Okay. So here, what I'm doing, student is equal to, okay, then enter. Okay. So name, I use here name of the student. Then I use here colon sign. Okay. And student name is, suppose it is myself. Okay. Then comma, enter, age. This is the key. Age is key, which I am using here. Age is, sorry, age is key. And then its value. Colon, value is numeric. For the numerical value, we are not required to use any string. Okay. Quote is not required. Then enter. The next is grade. Okay, so here is grade. Okay, then its value. Then the value. Grade is in the string format. So you can use double quote sign, you can use single quote sign. Suppose I'm using a single quote sign. Grade is B. Okay, comma. Then enter key department. I'm using here department. Department or subject, whatever you want to write here. You can use department and then a colon. Here is mathematics. Okay. Then yes, control and enter. Now we assess these values. Control and enter. The problem has been run. We can take a new shell. Okay. Suppose that I'm using this statement. I'm using this statement. Control and enter. The student name is Meher Chand. Okay. And if I'm using this statement, I can take a new shell so that I don't have any confusion because we are doing practice. We are doing practice. So I copied and pasted here so that I can save time just to demonstrate here. Okay. So this will assess this edge. Okay. If I want to use for department. Okay. I can take a new shell. The department okay is what? This key. You can see this key. Only this key we will use it. Only we are replacing the key. Control and enter. The department is mathematics. You can enjoy with this file. Similarly, you can see this thing and this thing are same. You can convert this statement like in the single file, single statement, create this part, then you can read this part, okay? Then you can read this part, okay? Then you can read this part. So this will work in the same way. There is no difference. Okay, the concept must be clear how we can store the value. You can see all the outputs are same. So here you can see we have a unique value set. Okay, set is also the group where we can store the value, and to store the values as a set, we are using here this curly bracket. Okay. And one more thing, in the set, we have always unique values. Always unique value. There will be no duplicate value, no duplicate entries. Okay, if there are, this will automatically return only the unique values. Just like you can see here, I use 11 two times. You can see 13 is also 2 times. It can be more than times. Okay. So when I will, this is the set, I store this information, this variable, then I print here. Then I print here. This automatically understand the information which we are using on the behalf of the symbol of the bracket, parentheses, which we are using here. You can see this bracket. So on the basis of this bracket, Python automatically understand This is used for set, and in the set there is no duplicate value. Okay, so control and enter, you can see we have only the unique values 11, 12, 13, 14, and you can see that there is no duplicate value. Interesting? It's interesting. You got the idea? Similarly, you can see this file, this shell, common dictionary operations in the Python. These are again very important, just like you can see. Now I will do this part very frequently. Okay, quite easy. You when you will get this file, you can manipulate. Actually, the thing is, you can change anything. Run the code, change what is happening there. Just like you can see, and all the things which we are required for the purpose we have mentioned here, accessing value, use the key to get the value. This part we have done in the previous example. Just like you can see here, name, alias, age 21. The value has been stored inside this variable. We want to access the student name. So you will use only the key. By using key, you can have the output. You can see the output is alias. Okay. Sometimes if the value is missing, just like you need to insert grade. Grade is missing here. Okay. And also you want to update the value of age. So just like you can see, student, this is the variable. We are using the same variable here. Grade is not there. So we want to update one value. We want to add one value. Okay. So grade is A. Grade is equal to A. So the key value pair will be added in this way if you want to insert. Okay. And if you want to change the value, here age is 21, but we want to update this value by mistake. This is wrong value. We can update this value by using this statement. The age is 28. This will update the existing key value. And when you will execute control and enter, the name is alias, the age is 28 now. Previously it is 21, but here you can see it is 28. The grade was missing in this shell, but here you can see the grade also. Okay. So in this way, we can update, we can add the values. And sometimes we have the extra value and you want to remove. We can do also. Okay. See, this is the way how you can remove the item. If grade in student, if in means this set. Okay. If grade in student, this variable is there. Okay. Then del means delete, student grade, and student dot pop age. So these two variables will be removed by using these two statement. Okay. So we add this age group, age also variable with grade. So both the variable will be moved from this group, which you can see name, age, grade, three variables are there, three keys are there. But after using this statement, this will remove the variables, control and enter. You can see there is only one key and its value. Okay. Checking for a key. If you want to check the key is there or not, just like I'm using here, the updated student information is only this one. Okay. If you want to check the name in student, if name in student means this name is exist in the student group or not. Okay. So here, if the condition is true, then name exists. Okay. Just like you can see, control and N. If I'm using other variable, just like age, if you want to check age, control, enter, you can see no output because age is not there in this group. This key is not there. Age key is not there in this one. That's why we don't have any output. You can check for the grade also. If you are using your grade, Okay, this is also not there. And this one, because grade and age both we have removed from the student variable. And again, if you are using a name and name exists here, this is the key, and you can see name exists. Okay, so actually the thing is, when you will get this file or the previous file which I have shared with you, you must check what is happening there. You can manipulate everything. Okay, there is no loss. So as much you will manipulate, you will try to use them according to your thought process. Actually, here the most important thing is the thought process. What we think about the code which are there, and when you have the computing thought are in the process. So according to your thought process, you must change all these values. You can write your own code if you want to write. Then how you can do and what will be their impact, what will be the output. So the everything is that our computing thinking, what we are thinking. Okay, so only the reading the file and only the content which I am presenting or not sufficient. The most important thing is what you are thinking about the syntax which we are using. Okay, how in which manner you can manipulate all the statements which you can see here. Okay, so as much you will do the experiment with the statements which I have right here, you will get more information. You have the deep understanding. Okay, and all these will be appeared in the all the coming sessions, and we have to use them. Okay, so here some more examples are there. Okay, you can easily operate all these operations and which are quite simple, just like you can see here. These are the arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction. Okay, result. Actually, result is the variable which we have used here. So this is the use for multiplication. This is the division. See this one. This is the floor division. Okay, so there is some difference between the division and the floor division. Okay, so see here, when you are using 9 by 2, okay, 9 by 2. So we have 4.5. If you are using 7.98, this is the floor division by 2. Okay, so control and enter. If I use this value, so that confusion can be clear, and you can see the difference. Okay, so if I have this operation, I want to divide 7, sorry, here we have division. So when we will divide this 7.98 by 2, the value is 3.99. But if you are using the floor division, as you can see here, 7.98, okay, double bracket, which is used for floor division. Okay, so this will divide and return the whole number part. Okay, see here. Okay, so what is the first largest number on the left, or you can say the integral value? Okay, you can see here is the modulus. Here is modulus. Return the remainder. When you will use here this sign, return the remainder after division. Just like you can see 12 percentage 11. So this will return the remainder only. If you are divide it by 2, remainder is 0. If you are dividing it by 3, remainder is 0. If you are dividing it by 5, okay, so this modulus is used to get the remainder after division. This is the explanation we have discussed already in the previous session. Okay, now these are the comparison. These logics are very, very important, and all of you can use them easily. Okay, and these are some logical operations. Okay, and these are some assignment variables. Okay, so for all these, I take here new shell, Okay, see here. 5, if we are using here, sorry, this is code. Okay, so if we are using single equal sign, we are storing the value. We are storing the value. But if we are using a is equal to 5, or here we are using 6, so it means we are the meaning at the base is this is the logical statement. For single equal, we are using to store the value. But if you are using 2 times double equal, it means we are comparing the values. Okay, control and enter. This is fast. Actually the meaning is that the value of a is 5, and here we are using 5 is equal to 5. Okay, or simply you can use like in this way. 5 is equal to 6. The meaning is 5 is equal to 6. How it is possible? We are now doing the comparison left side and right side, whether these are equal or not. So there is only 2 things. Either this will be true or it will be false. So according to the value, this will return for the comparison. You can see, and if we have here is 5 is equal to 5, we know this is true, this will return true. Okay, and if here is 6, this is false. Okay, if we are using here less than and equal to 5, 6, this is also true. This is also true. Okay, so you can have many things. 5 is less than 6 is true, and if you are using here greater than, we know it is false. Okay, so the same thing is there. If you are using here equal sign, also true as false, and if you are using here less than, then it is true. Okay, so all these operations or we can use here, you can see are based on this example, and these are the logical operations you can easily go through. Okay, so this is the one part of this file which you must go through this file very carefully. Okay, also along with the I will share this file with you also. Whether you can understand or not understand, this doesn't matter. Matter is that you must go through this file. Okay, so when we will join this session tomorrow, so if you will go through, you will have the better understanding. Okay, so I will share with you today these 3 files, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Okay, then we have the one more file which is related to the today's session. Okay, so this is the main topic which we are required to cover here, and how you can get the information. Just like this is our platform, and this is the your A1 which we are going to cover. Okay, so here we have the schedule, all the session. So this is the day, today date is 18, day 2. This part we are going to cover descriptive static, mean, median, mode, quartile, percentile, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, skewness, Quartiles. So all these are very basic functions are there, but due to the lack of time, I am not go through the detail about what are the meaning or the formulas about all this. Okay, so this part we will discuss in the coming session tomorrow. Okay, but here the most important thing is how we can use all these functions for real data set. Okay, and the file which I have prepared for you is very awesome. See, you are required to understand only this file. Okay, and theoretical part and the application part, there are different between these two. So today in this session, we are talking and thinking about only the application part. Okay, so when you have the real data set, how these functions can be implemented. And one more thing, for the data scientist, it is not required to remember the formulas. Okay, for a statistician, because he that one will do all the calculation manually. But here we have the computing tool. And when we are using the computing tool, we are not required to remember any formula. Okay, but we are required to deep understanding about the formula which we are going to implement. Why we are using mean, why we are using median, why we are calculating the interquartile. What is the meaning of interquartile range? Quartile, percentile, coefficient of variation, skewness and curtices. What are these? Mathematically, the formulas we have studied, but when you will apply, then what are the meaning of all these for the real data set, and what we can extract the information when we will use these functions. This is the important part. Okay, because everything which we are going to cover here are practical, not theoretical. Okay, so partially a theoretical part also we will cover along with, but actually in the first 3 sessions, along with we are going to cover some basic concept of the Python. That is very, very essential. So more time we will spend on these concepts, and then after all the things will be smooth. After 3 days, we will focus only on statistical thinking, the formulas, concept, deep understanding, application, visualization. Okay, all these will be based on real data set. Okay, so see here, these are some functions, and all these are inbuilt function in the Python. Just we need to understand how we can use it. So this file which I have prepared here is very nice and easily we can understand. So actually in the Python, there are some libraries and each library play very, very important role. Okay, so here you can see NumPy. NumPy is one library which is used for numbers, just like real number, we can have integer, we can have rational number, we can have irrational number. Okay, so minus infinity to infinity, all the real numbers. Pandas. So all type of the operation which we are required, we can use NumPy. And we will demonstrate you about the NumPy also. So you can see import NumPy is NP. NP is the abbreviation of this library. So we are importing NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib, PyPlot, SciPy. All these are different libraries. Libraries means these are different tools. Each tool have some specific task which they will perform. So NumPy is one library which is based on the number plus pi, NumPy. And when we will use its abbreviation, that is NP. Similarly, we have the Pandas. Okay, Pandas is one library for the data frame. Okay, I comment here. For data frame. Okay, data frame is like in this way. Frame to generate the data frame. Okay, and Seaborn is a library which is used for data visualization. Okay, but Matplotlib is also we can use for the data visualization. Okay, but there is a small difference between these two. Seaborn is SNS and Matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Difference is that when we have the small data set, in that case we can easily use Matplotlib.pyplot. But when we have the complex data set, suppose that there are thousands entries are there, 10,000, 50,000, okay, any large data set. For that, it's very difficult to handle the data set. We have to use Seaborn. Seaborn can easily handle very complex data set. Okay, so both will help us to visualize the data set. So when we will use them, then you will understand. here is SciPy. Okay, so inside this SciPy, all type of the statistical method which we are required, which are related to stats. Okay, specific are statistics. Okay, so we can use this SciPy. And some of the method also available in NumPy. We can use this method from the NumPy, as well as sometimes we have very typical method which not exist in the NumPy. When then in particular that case we can use stats. Okay, so see here, we have to execute this shell first. So when you will get this file, your shell is there. You will execute this shell first. Then load the data set. So actually, there are two things which you will follow. In the very beginning, you are a learner. You don't have any data set. Okay, but to implement all these things, we need some data set. Only then we can understand. So the data set you can have in your CSV file, you can have in Excel file, you can have in JSON file, you can have in text file. So these files we can use. But right now, I'm not using, I don't have any data set. So these libraries which you can see, just like SNS, Seaborn library. Seaborn library also provide a data set. So that from that place to using the data set, we can apply all the operations. So for this file, we are using the data set of the tips. You can see tips. Okay, so this is the one type of the data set of a one type of the hotel. Okay, and some variables will be there. Okay, so we are using this data set which is available in this library. Okay, so mainly application, we are using this library because we need data set from this library. That's why you can see here SNS. This is the abbreviation for Seaborn library. Dot load underscore dataset. So this will, this is the function which is applicable for SNS, because from the SNS we want to download the dataset. Okay, so when you will apply the functions with the one variable or any library, dot is there to combine. SNS is the library, and in this library we want to download the data set. So dot is there. Okay, then from where? Tips. So the data set will be downloaded and will store inside DF. DF is the variable where all the data which is available in DF will be stored inside this DF, which is used for data frame. So here the problem is that we are not required to generate the data frame because the tips is already, we have the data frame. Okay, see, just like we have any data which is available in a CSV file, that is a data frame. We are not required to create a data in any information which is in Excel. That is already we have that one of the example of data frame. Okay, so just we are required to read the file, and by reading the file, we can import all the information which is available in the dataset. This part we will cover by tomorrow in the coming session. But first, what are the basic terminology which we are required to understand here, and how all these will work for any kind of the dataset. Okay, just I'm not talking about the operations which we are going to apply. Only the most important thing is how we are going to apply. Okay, so if you understand this functionality, the libraries, their function, the purpose, action, okay, and how we are implementing in this file. So this file is completely defined and clearly we write in a very well manner so that you can understand in each step what we are going to take the action. Okay, see now, if I'm not using this term, I'm using here only DF, control and enter. Okay, so this is the information which we download from the tip, store inside DF, and DF, when you are using again added space, this is used to print the value which is available in DF. So this DF contain all the information which is available in this data set, and you can see these are the values. So the variables are total bill, tip, sex, smoker, day, time, size. Okay, and these are the index. And keep in mind the index in the Python always starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But in real time, we are using the index as a natural number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Just like you want to assign the roll number to your student 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. These are the index. Okay, you want to assign the numbers to the item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But in the Python, this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, 0 means first item, 1 means second item, 2 means third item, 3 means fourth item, in this way. Okay, so you can see there are 244 rows and 7 columns are there. Okay, and here by default we were using df dot head. Okay, so when you are using the head function, this will return only the first 5 rows of the data set by default. Okay, when you will assign some value at the base, just like I want to enter here 50. So this will return first 50 rows. First 50 rows. You can see only first 50 rows will be there, 49, and there is no any missing value. Okay, so we can assess up to 75. Now there is missing 3 dots are there. It means values are there, but up to 75. Okay, so in this way we can use the head function, and this is the essential part. And many times we have to use this term, and there is also tail function. So when you will use the tail function, this will return the last 5 rows. This will return last 5 rows. Okay, so here I am using the head function, control and enter. By default, these are first 5 rows. If you need some more, you can assign the value here. And this is the tail function. You can see tail function return the last 5 rows. Now it is the time to understand the data set. This is a very, very important part, because when you have the data set and very large data set, so without understanding the data set, we are not able to apply any statistical method. So this is the most important part. First, we are required to understand the entire data set. And once in the data set, sometimes we have the missing values. If they are missing values, we have to handle these values. There can be the duplicate values. Okay, so to get all these informations, we are required to understand the data set, its size, how many variables are there, which type of the variables are there, how many entries are there. Okay, the size of the data set, everything we are required to understand here. Okay, so here you can see we are using df.shape. This will return the size of the data set. Okay, and columns, df.columns.toList. So this will return all the column name in the list form. Okay, here you are using toList. So this df is the data frame. From the data frame, we want to access only the columns, column name. .toList we want in the list format. And you can see when we will use here This is the shape of the data set, and these are the all head name. You can see total bill, tip, sex, smoker, day, time, size. All these variables are there here in the list format. Okay. If you want to understand that data type, DF, actually, okay, one more thing. So all the informations are there only in this variable, DF. We are not required anything. This DF is enough. DF is everything because all the information about the data set, whatever is there, are stored inside only DF. Okay, so to get any information about a data set, DF is enough. So DF is the one most important variable which contain all the information about your data set. And this variable will not change your data set. Okay, by using this variable, we want to get some information. First, we want to understand the data set. Then after, we will get some insight. Okay, so this is the way how we can use it. So this is the tail function here. We have discussed this is the data type, control and enter. So there are the total bill. These are the variable. On the left side, you can see these are the variable and these are the class. So total bill, these are the numerical value, and manually these are float value. Tips are also the float integer, a float value. Okay, sex, these are the category. Smoker, day, time, these are category. Size, this is the integer. Okay, you can see this value. The size means how many numbers are there. So these are positive integers specifically. These are the counting. Okay, and you can see here. So here there is no numerical value, no numerical value, smoker, no numerical value, sex, no numerical value, male, female are there only. So all these are what type of? These are the categorical type data set. Okay, info, very important function. df.info, small input, very strong. So this df.info will return all the information about your data set. What? See, 24 entries. There are 24 entries starting from 0 to 243. See the last value. This is the last entry, 243. Okay. Then these are the column name. The data columns are 7. Which one? These are the column list. Total bill, tip, sex, smoker, etc. There is no missing value. All the entries are 244. It means there is no missing value in your data set. No null shell data type. So all the data type which you can see here are here also. So what do we do here? We use only this term, data frame, control enter. So this df.info will return all the information about your data set. Okay, so by using these functions, we are getting more information about the data set. Okay. Now we are using sometimes if there are missing values, and how many missing values are there according to all the head. Head means column name. Okay. So is null. Is null means there is empty shell or not. So this will check the empty shell. Is null. Dot sum. If in any variable there is missing values, how many values are missing? This will count the values. How many missing values are there? So df data frame is null. Are there missing value? Sum how many? So by using this one, this will return the counting. So when you will execute, you can see all the values are 0. It means there is no missing value in any variable. Okay. So when all these we have checked very carefully, then we come to very important, that is the basic descriptive static. Meaning is that when you will use describe function, as you can see here, df.describe. The name is very simple, but very powerful. Okay, So within a second, as soon as you will enter, you have lot of information just by using the describe function only. Okay. Control and enter, you can see. Yes, these are the total bill, and this will return the value outputs of the numerical value only. Okay, total bill, tip, and size. These are the numerical value. These are numerical value. No numerical values are absent. You can see there is no numerical value, no non-numerical value, only for the numerical value. Okay, count. You can see the count of each variable we have is 2, 4, 4. Mean of each variable. So the mean of total bill is 19.78 something. The date of tip we have is 2.9982 something. Size is 2 point something. So this is the mean. STD means standard deviation. This is the minimum value. Okay, so we are required to understand what is the minimum value in our data set of each variable. We are required to understand the maximum value of each variable. You can see this is the maximum value of each variable. We are required to understand the first quartile, second quartile, third quartile. 25% means first quartile. 50% means second quartile. 75% means third quartile. Okay, for more detail, we will discuss in the coming session tomorrow. Okay, but here just I demonstrate here the functions which we are required to use. Okay, if you are using dot t, control and enter. Transpose, dot t we are using to transpose the data frame. Dot t means transpose. So now all the columns change into rows. Okay, now it's looking very fine. In this way, we can use. Sometimes when you have the data set, okay, and there are many variables. Suppose that in your data set you have about 100 variables. Okay, so all the variables are not important for you. Just you are required only to some selected variable. Just like you need 2 variable, 3 variable, 4 variable, 5 variable out of 100. So why you will apply these operations on the entire data set when you need only the 3 variables or 4 variable? Okay, so how you can choose them? How you can choose them? See, this is the data frame. Then see this bracket. Then after we are using a 3 variable. Okay, so this is the list of the variable. This is the first variable, total bill. Then this is the second variable, which is tip. This is the third variable, which is size. Okay, suppose from this data variable, you can see total bill, tip, sex, smoker, day, time, size. And you know these values are categories are there. Not essential for us because all these contain non-numerical value. So we need only tip, then total bill, tip, and size. Okay, these variables contain numerical value. So the variables which we are not required, not essential, we can avoid these variables. Okay, so this is the way how you can select according to your choice. Total bill, tip, size, then dot, we are using the function on this variable. Total bill, tip, size. Okay, describe. So this will return the same thing as you can see. And if you are using here dot t, control, enter. Okay, if you need only these 2 variable, control and enter. Okay, if you need only 1 variable, see, I have only 1 variable. I need only descriptive information about this variable, control and enter. Got the idea how we are using control Z. Okay, so we all are familiar about the mean, we are familiar about the median, we know the standard deviation, and all type of the statistical function which we have used here. You can check it one by one. So here you can see mean of a total bill. Okay, we want to print only the mean of a total bill. What you can do, df, this is the data frame. We use only assess this variable total underscore bill dot use the function mean. Okay, so this will print the mean of this variable. Control and enter. Okay, if you want to calculate the mean of a tip, mean of tip, so we assess the variable tip and then dot mean. So these are the one by one operation. These are one by one operation. Okay. So here, this is the example of one variable. Similarly, we can use for the median. What is the difference? Only the thing is, this is the same thing, only the function we change here. Only we change the function at the place. Median. So the variable is total bill. The variable is total bill. Then we apply the median. Control and enter. So variables are same, but we are calculating the median. Median total bill we have is 17.795. The median tip we have is 2.9. Okay. Similarly, you can calculate. Here is the example mean median of the same function, so that you can have more practice. You can have more practice. Here is the use of mode. Use of mode. What is the meaning of mode? The mode of the table size. Okay. So yes, the frequency of the variables. So here we are using for size. Okay. So here you can see control and enter. So this is the mode. So in the first part, you can see this will return the mode of the table size 02. Okay. And then we are using here size. Okay. So the size of size mode, size means we have to come to see here. Okay, this is the size variable. Okay, so the mode is the highest frequency. Okay, that is 2. That is 2. That is 2. Is there 0? Is there 0? I think 0 is used here for index. 0 is used for index. Okay. Mode, quartile. So very simple way. This is the Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, quartile. How we can use this? This is the data set. Total bill. Quantile. This is the function which we can use for quartile. Okay. The function name is quantile. 0.25, 25%. The meaning is 25%. Okay. So 25% is Q1, 50% is Q2, 75% is Q3. Okay. So then these values will be calculated from the data set. Okay. Just we are using here only the name of the functions. And what you need to understand, the methods which we have studied in statistics, how we can use them with the help of Python. Okay, so here for us, the most important thing is the understanding of the method, not to remember the method. Just like if you want to calculate quantile, what is the meaning of quantile? What is the meaning of STD? What is the meaning of the other functions which we are going to use? Okay, And first we will calculate the values, then we will understand what are the meaning of all these values. Okay, so you can see here Q1, Q2, Q3, and here we print all these values. Okay, this will print the Q1, this will print the Q2. Okay, Q2 is also equal to median, and this is the Q3. And when you will execute, control and enter, we have the value of Q1, Q2, Q3. This is the interquartile. Interquartile IQR is equal to Q3 minus Q1. Okay, the difference of Q3 and Q1. So Q1, Q3 minus Q1 is interquartile range. Okay, and this will calculate. So this is the IQR. Then we are required to calculate outliers detection using IQR. So for that, we have to check the method to calculate the outliers. Okay, so I discuss only up to 9 section, and the remaining part you can try yourself, but by coming tomorrow we will discuss the remaining part. Now I have the time 9:43. Okay, so just you are required to complete this file. So partially you will be able to understand some parts. There will be some challenge. So actually the thing is, I will share with you some content along with this file. This file I will share 4 Jupyter file, which I present, and partially this part is incomplete. Along with there will be 2-3 images file. And this is very, very essential to read and to try to understand. Okay, so you have the clear vision about what we are going to implement. So by using this file, we will clear the basic concept about all type of the functions which we can see, and sometimes to understand the dataset visualization part is also very, very important. So here in this file, you will see some visualizations are also there. You can see, yeah, you can see the distribution of the total bill and distribution of the table. So you can see these curves. So these curves you can understand only if you have the understanding. These are the box plot. Okay, so these concept we can easily understand when I will share the some content which will be in the format of the images. So everyone must you are required to go through all this detail. Only then this session will be fruitful. So everything not necessary that you have to remember the formula, but the meaning of the formula, meaning means deep understanding of the formula, why we are going to calculate this thing. Okay, so when you have the deep understanding, then we will be able to implement all this for statistical analysis along with for the data science purpose, along with for the machine learning purpose. Okay, so if you have any question, you can unmute your mic. Prakash, no problem. So the recording of the session is there. You can cover the missing part from the recording. Okay, don't worry about this thing. So all the things which we are presenting here, the content which are very, very important, along with the recordings, which will be help you for in the future anytime you can access all these things. Okay, so the platform which we have created, everything will be in your account. Okay, and along with we are sharing in the WhatsApp group also, so that easily you can access everything. So if you have any question, please let me know. Payal, Engineer Prakash, Gaurav, anyone please. Okay, there is no question.
No, sir, it's okay.
All the faculty members are very intelligent. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. If there is no doubt. So I hope that in all the sessions, I will try there will be no question from your side. Okay, but only the one thing, keep continuously attending all the sessions. Okay, and available in the right time. Actually, I launch each meeting only 1 minute before or exactly at the same time. Okay, if there is any change, there will be message at least 1 hour before. Okay, otherwise, if there is no message, it means there is no missing or no change in our, and 99% there is no change in all the sessions. Okay, so I hope that you will try your best from your side, but I will try more best from my side. I will make every effort to deliver all this content for you. Okay, but along with I need the support from your side also. Your presence is more important. If one participant or two participants are not, I'm able to see at the screen. Okay, then sometimes confidence level you can understand low. So if the class is full, all the entries are there, then teacher are always happy. Okay, and if students are less in the classroom, so sometimes the student teacher also feel that confidence level is low, and he will not take according to the class is full. Okay, so your presence is also very, very important. And last statement, if you have any question, any query, please don't hesitate. You can put all the questions from your side. And I always wait all the questions from your side. Okay, so don't hesitate to ask any query from your side. The platform is very open. And I am always very friendly with all the participants. Okay, I am sharing my thought. Okay, and you have also very specific domain. Okay, some two participants are there who have very long experience in this area. Okay, except the computing part. So sometimes it may be I can take help from your side. Okay, I'm not a perfect person, but combining we have some strength. Okay, so please, if you have, if sometimes I deliver the content not according and I have some misunderstanding or you can have more understanding, you can elaborate accordingly. Okay, so sometimes this can happen. Okay, so basically I am from mathematical background, but I will try from my side best, and I will try that there will be no doubt or no query from your side. Okay, but you will catch questions, that is your potential or the understanding level, how much you have. Okay, so if there will be a query, I will always welcome. So thank you, dear participant, for the today's session, and enjoy the content will be available in your WhatsApp group. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, one is asking about the content or the data set. Pile, please don't worry about the data set. I have lot of data set. Okay, so further today, just use this file. Actually, everything is in the systematic way. I have planned everything. Okay, so at what time, what should I deliver so that you can have the clear concept. And don't worry about the data set. A huge data set we have, huge operations are there, huge literature we have, okay, and huge files we have prepared for you. You will enjoy, and after covering all this content, there will be no doubt after completing this 2-week workshop. Okay, so thank you and good night.